Ma. This is a rated R psychological thriller horror movie around 1 hour and 38 minutes long. This was released around the 31st of May 2019. Now the story of this being a lonely woman who befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her home. Just when the kids think their luck couldn't get any better, things start happening that make them question their intention of their host. Let's jump straight into the good points. Now the good points about this movie is Tate Taylor's direction. I felt it was okay throughout. There was some decisions which were quite questionable, but I don't think it was all on the direction. I feel like most throughout though it was quite good. And not only that, the storyline was very intriguing, very interesting throughout. I feel like they played a lot off the story, to be honest with you. It relied heavily on the story to succeed, and I feel like for the most part the story did succeed. The tone of the movie was quite well throughout. You obviously have them moments where you're starting to look at the main character and you're starting to think, okay, right, she is really twisted, and you're starting to feel the pressure for the other characters who are in her home, and the tone is great, really well produced and done for the tone throughout the movie. The technical side of the movie is okay in my honest opinion. I don't think they really tried to really go out the boundaries when it comes to the technical side. It was pretty basic throughout in my honest opinion. The performances though throughout the movie were quite good throughout, especially when it comes to the main cast member, obviously Octavia Spencer. She was obviously playing Ma in this movie, and in my opinion she was the thoroughly main reason this movie even got the praise it did. She was fantastic. This was a role which you could see she cherished, she really enjoyed to take on. Again, alongside her we have Diana Silvers as Maggie, the main young girl in the movie. I found her quite interesting throughout the movie. She has a couple of friends alongside her, which some of them can be okay, but she was the main victim of this movie in my opinion. She was the main person you see throughout the movie alongside Ma, and I feel like she had some interesting aspects to add to the movie. Alongside her we have her mother played in this movie, obviously Juliette Lewis playing as Erica, the mother of that daughter. She was quite interesting throughout the movie as well. Her and her daughter's relationship was quite a thing throughout the movie, which was quite interesting, and I like the fact with this movie a lot of the parents in the movie had a connection and a storyline behind the scenes. That was one of the things that really made the storyline quite interesting too. Now on to the bad points. Now the bad points about this movie is most of the characters, especially when it comes to some of the youngsters, they were forgettable. They really were. We had all these things happening to them. Of course, maybe at the time that was quite interesting and stuff, but when you come out of the movie, you start thinking, well, who could I really give a lot of praise to? And this was my issue with the movie. I've recently watched it and I felt like, who was actually memorable? What actually happened to some of these youngsters? They were just partying, they were obviously victims, but that is pretty much it. There was no character depth for some of these youngsters, which was really quite poorly written. The movie was quite boring throughout in my honest opinion. I felt like a lot of it was repetitive stuff, and it was a lot of obviously, oh my god, let's try and get this, oh my god, what's going to happen when we get to this place. It was very repetitive and very boring, which led to pacing issues throughout as well in my opinion. A lot of the issues rely on this script. The script was really lazy, and I felt like they needed to rewrite a lot more times to really get that final script up to scratch. It felt very lazy is the word I'm going to use. It really felt as well, the violence as well was quite minimal throughout. And a rated R movie, you'd expect quite a bit of violence. Now a lot of the rated R, there was some violence in there, but a lot of it relied on the F words, the swearing words. Now the main bad point about this movie in my opinion is Luke Evans' character. Luke Evans is a great actor, really underappreciated throughout movies in general, very underrated in my opinion. He comes into this movie as a father of a boy and really is pretty much trying to find where his boy is, where the kids are and stuff. And the storyline for this character and the character depth is very limited for a person who is really interesting from the beginning. We really get nothing afterwards. Going on to the critics' ratings, of course, with IMDb giving a 5.7 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes giving a 54%, and Metacritic giving a 53. My rating for this movie is a 6 out of 10. That makes this a borderline good movie, as I think this movie looked like it had so much potential. It felt like a lot of the writers and stuff got really lazy with the script and the character depth, which really left this movie not landing very well. That's what I'm going to say. I was really gutted because I felt like this concept of this movie was really unique, really interesting and quite cool, and this was one I wouldn't rush to see, but if you have the time, you want to see them sort of thriller type movies, then check it out if you have the time. So guys, a 6 out of 10 for Ma. Don't forget to let me know your ratings and thoughts down below in that comment section, of course. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this movie. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you did, smash that thumbs up button, because it really helps the video, the channel, and it also helps me out in general. So thank you very much if you do. As well as guys, if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell for much more movies and TV series content. So without further ado guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time guys on Talking with Jay Springer.